Welcome to the Daughters of Harriet book launch. I am Briana Ohene-Owens, the producer of Black Girl in October Productions and the daughter of the talented Cynthia Parker Ohene. I hope you are excited as I am to be a part of this event. We have a great lineup for you all for the next hour. But first, I would like to introduce our MC. Courtney is the first manager of diversity and inclusion for the De Young Museum in San Francisco. As manager of the diversity and inclusion, Courtney is working to shift the institution to an anti-racist organization. Courtney is also a board member for multiple community-based organizations and an aspiring future candidate for Alameda County's Board of Supervisors. Not only is she a creative and a loving mother of two, she spends her free time volunteering to uplift and advocate for Black and Brown communities. Please welcome my girl from the deep East Oakland, Courtney Jones.
Hey, I know that's right, Deep East Oakland in the house. Hello. Welcome. I am so excited to have the opportunity to invite you and be your MC for this amazing event. So let's get this party started. Welcome, and I'd like to introduce my homegirl, my dope partner, and my homie from way back, okay? I'd like to introduce Miss Jamilah Bradshaw. She is from Oakland and she lives in Richmond. Come on, girl, let's make this work.
Thank you, Courtney. Hey, everyone. Hi, Briana. Thank you so much. Hi, Andres. I see you in the comments, and just I really want to give a shout out to everyone here, and just thank you so much for the invitation to be here. And so much love to Mama Cynthia. So I have the honor of inviting us into honoring the ancestors, honoring Harriet, honoring those whose lives and whose legacies allow us to be and allow us to continue on. So I will invite us into movement. You are welcome to move if you feel so moved. And I welcome you into sensing into yourself. And let's get it going, folks. You're welcome to stay seated. You're welcome to stand, whatever fills you up and feel supportive at the moment. First, I invite you to feel into the ground, touch the ground, sense into your relationship with the earth. And allow yourself to be held there in a wonderful way. Take a breath here and then sense into the sky and at once be rooted in the heavens and the earth. Sense into the space to your left, the space to your right, the space behind, the space in front, the space diagonal, the spirals that allow you to be. And allow that spiral to move you into a hug where you can place one hand maybe at your heart center and one hand maybe at your belly center and make this sort of contact that feels supportive for you. And with your eyes open, or with your eyes softly dimmed, or your eyes closed, we give acknowledgement, we give honor to the first breath that one takes after freeing oneself. We acknowledge the living dynamics of shape-shifting between flesh, body, and soma. We praise Harriet. All hail fugitivity, refusal, maroon lessons, the underground, the love below, abolish, The defining of Sankofa as go back and get them. Go back and get them. Go back and get them all. May the medicine of these words that we share today land and lead to where they need to in your body in your flesh, in your soma, and in generations to come, in generations to come, in generations to come. You may speak the name of ancestors who are holding you up at this moment. You may praise Harriet in this moment. And in this way, we come into this space in a good way. And let it be so. Let it be so. And let it be so. Thank you. Pass it back to you, Courtney.
Whew, thank you. I felt like uplifted, called in, and surrounded by the ancestors. So thank you, sis. That's what we needed right now. And so as we move into this session, I get the blessing and the honor to introduce our next guest. He goes by the name of Dezron Douglas, and he's a bassist, composer, band leader, and educator. He established himself as a major force in contemporary creative music. In 2019, he was the Downbeat magazine Rising Star. And in 2021, he joined the Trey Anastasia Band. He has over 6 albums. He's released over 6 albums as a lead artist and maintains a variety of projects that he uses as platforms for his composition. Meditation on Faith is his solo bass improvisation that was released in March of this year. It is my pleasure to introduce to you all Dezron Douglas.
Hello, greetings from New York, Harlem to be specific. My name is Dezron. This is my homie Lalo, and we would like to congratulate Cynthia on a fabulous book release. I have not yet finished this, but I'm already inspired. Cynthia, you have outdone yourself. And I hope to share a coffee or a tea with you the next time I'm in Oakland, and we can talk about Daughters of Harriet. I want to play we're going to play some music for you in celebration of this wonderful masterpiece. So we'd like to begin. This first piece is called Alki Bulan, Land of the Blacks. Thank you. Alki Bulan.
Oh, I know y'all. I hope y'all felt that like I felt that. I was swaying and moving. I mean, between the honoring of the ancestors we just had and rolling right into that video, I'm here for all of this. So now I get the opportunity to introduce Miss Alma Codjoe. She is the author of The Bluest Nude, forthcoming from Milkweed Editions in September 2022, and Blood of the Air, Northwestern University Press 2020. Winner of the Drinking Gourd Chapbook Poetry Prize. Her recent poems have appeared in the Best American Poetry and everywhere else. Among other honors, Codjoe has received fellowships from the National Endowment for the Arts, the New York State Council, New York Foundation of the Arts, and the Jerome Foundation. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce to you all Miss Alma Codjoe.
Thank you. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Cynthia, for creating this book. It is so layered and deep. It is evidence of like living. And I just know you poured so much energy and years and time into making it, and it's evident. It is such a beautiful, moving collection. So congratulations. Thanks for inviting me to be here and celebrate with you and your family. I thought I would just take a little snippet from the book as like a place to sail off from. So this is from my mother, the lunch lady. And the line reads, "Be Hattie, be the wind, be mammy for 8 hours while they are in preparation for future domination." And it just reminded me of a few poems that I have that are in relationship to Aunt Jemima. So this is a ekphrastic poem. It's thinking about this assemblage by Betty Saar called The Liberation of Aunt Jemima. Poem after Betty Saar's The Liberation of Aunt Jemima. What if, Betty, instead of a rifle or hand grenade, I mean, what if after the loaded gun that takes 2 hands to fire, I lay down the splintered broom and the steel so cold it wets my cheek? What if I unclench the valleys of my fist and lay down the wailing baby? Gonna burn the moon in a cast iron skillet. Gonna climb the men who, when they see my face, turn into stony mountains. Gonna get out of the kitchen. Gonna try on my nakedness like a silk kimono. Gonna find me a lover who eats nothing but pussy. Let the whites of my eyes roll, roll. Gonna clench my toes. Gonna purr beneath my own hand. Gonna take down my hair. Try on a crown of crow feathers. Gonna roam the wide aisles of the peach grove, light dripping off branches like syrup, leaves brushing the fuzz of my arms. You dig? Gonna let the juice trickle down my chin. Gonna smear the sun like war paint across my chest. Gonna shimmy into a pair of royal blue bell bottoms. Gonna trample the far out thunder clouds heavy in their lightness. Watch them slink away. Gonna grimace. Gonna grin. Gonna lay down my sword. Pick up the delicate eggs of my fist. Gonna jab the face that hovered over mine. It's easy to find the lips surrounded as they are in minstrel black. Gonna bloody the head of every god, ghost, or swan who has torn into me, pried me open with its beak. Gonna catch my breath in a hunting trap. Gonna lean against the ropes. Gonna break the nose of mythology. Good night, John Boy. Gonna ice my hands in April's stream. Gonna scowl and scream and shepherd my hollering into a green pasture. Gonna mend my annihilations into a white picket fence. Gonna whip a tornado with my scarlet handkerchief. Spin myself dizzy as a purple-lipped drunkard. gonna lay down by the riverside, sticky and braless in the golden sand. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Detail from poem after Betty Saar's The Liberation of Aunt Jemima. And out of her gushing head, I witnessed 4 fully grown women spring forth like winged beasts. The first woman wore the charm of her unmasked hair and a taken for granted beauty that made her all the more enticing. The last woman modeled an anonymous version of herself, an eye that didn't remind anyone of anyone else, but who reminded Aunt Jemima of freedom. The second woman brandished a hand-held mirror she spat on, then polished with a ruffled hem of her apron. A mirror all the women, except the last, gathered around like campfire. And the second to last woman carried a pink mulatto, squirming on her hip. In the baby's hand, a rattle. In the rattle, a shattered light bulb. In the filament, a portrait of the child's father, who some say Aunt Jemima tempted with her bottle-shaped hips, but who was known to be monstrous, a so-called god. And I beheld a sea of blood, dark as syrup, oozing from Aunt Jemima's neck, and 4 women flying without shoes or wings from her maternal amber body. And the last poem I'm going to read, I guess it's speaking to this piece of the collection that is so much about voyage and enslavement and legacy and inheritance. And I was thinking just about the families that we have made, you know, when we have been torn from family. So a family woven like night through trees. The man asks, "Do you have a family?" My thinking brushes the air between us like a wet mark stains white paper. My mother's mother, dead 22 years, a stone house, the ants I've killed, Robin who, when someone hurls toward me a small cruelty, cries. Memphis in August, my twin brother crunching ice, all the cousins I've made, walking amongst cedar trees, New Yorkers on New Year's Day or the first day of spring. Not children I birthed, but dead leaves raked into prickly hills, made messy with our falling. Artist skinny dipping in the ocean at night. It was family that surged and fell away. But the ties my grandfather wore on Sundays are kite tails in my closet. The mums my mother planted are tiny, decadent flames. Family returns like a sun, the way a wave is always and never the same. For once, it is not about the body. I listened as my friend's urge to kill herself grew clamorous as a field of bells. She stank of it. Her voice reeked, streaked with ringing. And as if she were reeds in baby's breath, clothed in a robe of dianthus, as if she'd been washed by a river stripped of silt and mud, I drew her close, inhaled her musk, and brought her brow to mine. I mean to say, her blood was mine. Thank you. Thank you so much, Cynthia. Congratulations. Woo-hoo!
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you for sharing. I'm enjoying the soulful journey of Blackness that we are all having the opportunity to walk through today. And so as we continue on this soulful journey of Blackness, I have the pleasure to introduce Tongo Eisen-Martin. Originally from San Francisco, he is a poet, movement worker, and educator. His latest curriculum on extrajudicial killing of Black people, We Charge Genocide Again, has been used as an educational and organizing tool throughout the country. His book, Someone's Dead Already, was nominated for a California Bookstore Award. His latest book, Blood on the Fog, was released this fall in the City Lights Pocket Poets series. And in 2020, he co-founded Black Friday Press to publish revolutionary works. I have the pleasure to introduce to you all Tongo Eisen-Martin, poet laureate.
Thank you very much. I'm out of town and I'm caught in this dance of trying to get as close to the Wi-Fi in the house without disturbing the hosts. Cynthia, you already know how I feel. You just have, you know, one of those minds that rarely comes around, and you know, have poems coming through you that are a convergence of so much power, material history, and you know, just a crazy ingenuity of craft. So honored to be here. Is this book set sail as we break the bottle of champagne on the ship and send it on its way. Please let me know if I'm too far from the Wi-Fi. All street life, to a certain extent, starts fair. Sometimes with a spiritual memory, even. Pre-dawn soul clap, your father dying, even. Maybe I've pushed the city too far. My sensitivities to landfill districting and minstrel whistles, white supremacist graffiti on westbound rail guards, all overcome and reauthored. Reauthored by revolutionary violence that chose its own protagonist or muted stage of genius, the garbage is growing voices. Condensed Marxism for warrior depressives, underpasses in their pockets because they just might be deities or decent bid on the Panther name, a merciful Marxism. Disquieted home life, a metaphor for relaxing next to a person who is relaxing next to a gun. I stared at my father for a few seconds, then returned to my upbringing. Returned to the souls of Ohio Black folk. Revolution, damn near pagan at this point. You know what the clown wants? The respect of the ant. Wants to interpret pain on me. Wants to pull a 38 out of a begging bowl. Wants me to hurt my hand on this pen. I'm not tired of these rooms. Just tired of the world that give them a relativity. My only change of clothes prosecuted the government finally learned how to write poems. Shootouts that briefly align, that make up a parable or parables. Like white bodies are paid well. Do white men even have leaders? Are all white people white men? A rat pictures a river, can almost taste the racial divide, can almost roll a family member's head into a city hall legislative chamber, knows who in this good book will fry. You know, all I do is practice, Lord. Deciding not to talk out of anger ever again. Met my wife at the same time I met new audience members for our pain. We passed each other cigarettes and watched cops win, a city gone uniquely linear. Harlem of the West, do a true universe. I will always remember you in fancy clothes, my wife said. So here I sit, twisting in silk ideation. Rifle made of postbellum tar, targets made of an honest language. This San Francisco poetry is how God knows it is me whining. Writing among the lesser respected wolves, lesser observed militarization. Dixie List prison bookkeeping, I mean the California Great Coast are coming. Lynch mob gossip and bourgeois debt collection. I mean, it's tempting to change professions mid-poem. In the Chicago briefing, a white sergeant saying blank slate for all of us after this black organizer is dead. Standard academics toasting $2 wine at the tank parade. Bay of nothing, Lord. Just nuclear cobblestones, gun line athleticism, and the last of the inherited asthma. Children giving white dolls to play with and fear. Facial expressions borrowed from rich people's shoestrings. I can hear hate and teach hate and call tools by people names and name people dead to themselves. No one getting naturalized except federal agents soon. Carving the equator in the throat soon. I'm sorry to make you relive all of this, Lord. All this pre-dime monarchy, friends putting up politician posters and snorting the remainder of the pace. Minstrel scripts shoveled into the walls by their elders. My children sharpening quarters on the city's edge. For these audiences, I project myself into a ghost-like state. For these gangsters, I do the same. Every now and then, take a nervous look east. Sleep becomes Christ. Sleep starts growing a racial identity. Do you ever spiral, Lord? Has the gang age betrayed us? Be patient with my poems, Lord. So much pain is a point to crime. I mean, it has to be if race traders come with it. Lord, is that my revolver in your hand? You know, better presidents than these have yawned at cages, have called us holy slaves, filled the school libraries with cop documentaries. Baby, I don't have money for food. Why? I have no present moment at all. I go to the railroad tracks and follow them to the station of my enemies. A cobalt-toothed man pitches pennies at my mugshot, negative all over the United States. There are toddlers in the rock. I see why everyone out here got in the big cosmic basket and why blood agreements mean a lot and why I get shot back at. I understand the psycho-spiritual refusal to write white history or take the glass freeway. White skin tattooed on my right forearm, ricochet sewage near where I collapse into a rat-infested manhood. My new existence is living graffiti in the kitchen with a lot of gun cylinders to hack up. House of God in part, no cops in part, my body brings down the Christmas. The new bullets pray over blankets made from the old bullets. Pray over the 28th hour's next beauty mark. Extrajudicial Confederate statue restoration, the waistband before the next protest poster. Hey, by the way, time is not an illusion, Your Honor. I will save your deaths for last. You're witty, Your Honor. You're moving money again, Your Honor. There's only raining one thing. Non-white cops and prison guard shadows reminded me of spoiled milk floating on an oil spill. The neighborhood making a lot of fuss over his demise. A new lake for a Black Panther party. Malcolm X's ballroom jacket slung over my son's shoulder. The figment of village. A new noose to a new white preacher, all in an abstract painting of a president. Bought slavery some time, didn't it? The tantric screeches of military bolts and election Tuesday cars. A cold-blooded study in leg irons. Proof that some white people have actually fondled nooses. That sundown couples made their vows of love over opaque peach plastic and boat action audiences. The Medgar Evers II is definitely my favorite law of science. Fondled news clippings and primitive Methodists, my arm changes imperialisms. Simple policing versus structural frenzies, elementary school script versus even wider white spectrums, artless bleeding and the challenge of watching civilians think. And the terrible rituals they have around the corner, they let their elders beg for public mercy. I'm gonna go ahead and sharpen these kids' heads and their arrows myself and see how much gravy spills out of family crest. Modern fans of war with their t-shirt poems and t-shirt guilt, and me having on the cheapest pair of shoes on the bus. I have no choice but to read the city walls for signs of my life. Societies wander together like hopeful drops of a virus. Citizen testaments bent on offering me a nation of breadwinners to hold me back like it's a Brinks. I wrinkle the concrete sometimes like flesh. My Martin Luther King permanence, turning away from a podium into the reeds like God is the dangerous twin. Black August to the mountaintop balcony on my bedroom floor. You know, they steal you from the earth itself and suspend you in your broken neck from their foolish euphoria. From the loyalty oath of their grave superstitions, loyalty oath of their agrarian reform, I return to my mother completely disrespected. For peeling the heat off of purgatory, they kill poets like me. Walk me away from my poems, never to be heard from again. In this final industrial complex of bloodlines, picked over, picked through, a sport and spiritual death or your devil at least half made. Police become a pretty word. I'm reading a lynch mob shoestrings like they were tea leaves, teaching you how to write about cities. It's the 25th century in the mirror. Tyranny against your chump change, and you're a chump to be mocked even with a gun in your car. Cubit of needlework spelled tune for the proletariat, the relapse ministry. Talented people curled up in a fetal position next to a diamond dying. Just another service day in the theatrics of tea house fascism in a bouquet of surveillance cameras in the poverty of God. New blue eyes, corpses of water, newly potted presidency, one big shiny coin if you ask animated capitalism and other non-literal voids, killing is white freedom. The deification of hyphens, medicine, bread, and picture shows, great protesters in LA, guests of our ink, drop kicking, rose in the graveyard, DC mink like a stone torn in half, the pen advances despite CIA guideposts, despite non-African past and futures, a metaphorical but not surreal day in a horn-ridden life, horn player improvising king. Like a radio prize fight featuring Shango himself, a real hand sweeps the land of racism. May I return to the ground. May I make progress with the gun. On our Mother Emanuel, they put on music that evening, a swinging type body language for you to drink with fermented $5 bills for your body language, some applause, my past stomach lining, neither a good thing nor a bad thing, like being psychic on the way to a lethal injection. It'll sit you down with Lady Day. Lady Day leading youth who surrendered their souls to Africa too soon. Polity thought floating in the cup of water, she saved me, accessing my stomach, accessing the love of the American lynched. Coat sleeves, wooden and avalanche into the wrist, our Mother Emanuel. Avalanche into the sharp keys, pain. The deal you make with pain. Piano makes sense for them. Laying hands on the world gradually, addressing the bending necks on the streets of the north. Travelers sailing in pain, repeating pain in the north. 10 trigger fingers on the piano if harmony would have me. Putting 100 fights on every direction offered her. Lady Day, leaning on trees again, recruiting the countryside itself, saying lay your plan out on this lightning. Make your poems the corner pocket of men. I've greeted the blues itself. America may clean my dead body, but will never include me. There goes the poet, killing without killing. Never mind this painting of your language. May I be a meaningful lynching, a crow's passing, good and dead by the afternoon. Congratulations again, Cynthia. Much love.
That was fire.
Okay, you just gonna come and drop it like that, right? Like you just was dropping fire after fire after fire. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So as we move on from that amazingness, and as we just are loved up in Blackness and power and just all of it, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce Miss Patricia Smith, who is an author of 8 books of poetry. Her works have appeared in the Paris Review, the Baffler, the Washington Post, the New York Times, Tin House, and so many more, okay? She is a 2-time winner of the Pushcart Prize, the most successful, well, before I even get there, a 4-time individual champion of the National Poetry Slam, and the most successful poet in the competition's history. Y'all hear me now? Miss Patricia is a distinguished professor for the City University of New York and an instructor in the MFA program at Sierra Nevada University and the Vermont College of Fine Arts postgraduate residency program. It is my pleasure to present to you all Miss Patricia Smith.
I always forget to unmute. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. Cynthia and I, you talked about the Vermont College of Fine Arts, the postgraduate writing program. Cynthia and I misbehaved in Vermont in what everybody else, I think, believed was the master's house. They tried Cynthia and did not succeed. She walked in already so far beyond everybody else in mind, ability, bravery, backbone, and now we hold the inevitable proof in our hands. Cynthia, this book is going to shift the landscape, and you will be tried again, but know that no one could speak these spirits the way that you do. And know that everybody here in this room, we're walking with you. we're walking with you. So congratulations. It's beyond past time for this. And I'm so happy that we could all be here to celebrate you. I am going to read one kind of long poem. And it's a collaboration that I did with a photographer who I've been working with some time. He traveled to Ghana and took many pictures of young women and talked to them about their hair. So this is a poem dedicated to our hair in all its spectacular guises. In its beginning, earth was fractured, frail with coveting, and could not wait for us. So, flailing in the muscled clutch of grace, we blessed this sullen place. As we were born and born again in tenements and lush, exuberant savannas, flung from hips of southern silver, lifted into life while mamas shrieked and swore, as we were born and born again, emphatic, snared within our thrash and wail, our breath already slowed by blood's incessant question in our chest, every dazzled witness rose to name us yet again. The world was not prepared. Inside its realm, no one could fathom us. Inside its realm, no one could fathom us. We brazen through their shuttered doors. We huge inside their throats. We necessary storm, our newborn crowns smeared flat with blood, so hot against our little heads. The white mistake was thinking that once rinsed and blotted dry, the clenched rebellious snarl was simply hair with nothing more to say. They saw instead the way our skin corrals and guzzles sun, our breathlessness, our legendary hips. They saw what commerce needed them to see, our backs grown wide and measured for the want of work. They missed the hurricane of hair, the springing from 1,000 wicked roots. That springing from 1,000 wicked roots was just the brash beginning, just the bray of light that hisses warning, do not touch this hair, this vibing wire, these bellowed threads of thundering. No, no, do not dare to poke a prying finger into dark you do not understand. Our hair is blade when we decide that it should be. The fools who died within its kink would speak of smother if they could. Our hair is not your savior, not your kumbaya, your ticket in. When it began, so smashed and sleek with blood, we knew that it had fist. Our hair can't be polite. Once we were slaves, our hair was furious. Once we were slaves, our hair was furious, forever springing loose from plaits and bows, rejecting homemade greases meant to tame the wild and wiry bloom that snapped its bands and leapt alive at every chance. At least some part of us was running free, like flame that hungers for a sky, like praying fixed on someplace new heaven was. We sang our songs but didn't move our mouths. We burned to black inside ourselves. With rivers as our mirrors, we began to build a wall between our stolen air and us. We snapped our dresses to our throats, made sure our hair was braided thick against the spit of men. Hair braided thick against the spit of men, we hurtled forth. For years, we mystified the whisper tressed, but listened when they said that we were wrong, not white or silk enough, and that we'd never be unless we walked into the fire, succumbing to a hate we hoarded for ourselves. Because they loved their blemished daughters, mamas twisted knobs on cranky ovens, conjured flame, and made us sit on rusted, wobbling kitchen chairs beneath the ironing comb that charred our necks, beneath the lie that chewed at scalp and root, and we endured that hurt, forgot the days our chaos crowns had bellowed, nap unleashed. Our crown still fought to bellow, nap unleashed, though it was wounded, hammered down with heat and oil that stank of animals and flowers, although we wept while memorizing pale and wispy heads in magazines. We gazed and learned to suffer poisons to correct our ugly, free us from the blunder of ourselves. And as we listened, reaching up to touch a stranger's head, a stranger head, with strands that disappeared us, trapped us in their strangling glamour, we remembered this, that we are people destined to explode. So we exploded toward ourselves again. When we explode, we know ourselves again. We shake our funky, liberated heads and raise our voices to the rafters. Do not dare touch these crowns. And we are Alabama, Brooklyn, Watts, and we are middle finger lifted toward the seething witnesses to all this joy. And we are Trinidad and Harlem. We are bopping straight into the yesterday we were, and straight into the history we've made, and straight into tomorrow with our rampant naps so gleefully unchecked, so unrestrained, entwined till we become a single soul, yet none of us the same. A single soul, yet none of us the same. We are the only government we need. Our vivid, cocky crowns stunned in their tilt and swirl. They devastate and irritate. They be our gospel, be our calling card. They be our halo, be the way we reach for sky. The crown is ours to snip or dye 100 awkward hues. It's ours to tuck beneath a Sunday hat, to crimp and twist, to scissor down to air, much like a man's. This hair is all our other breath. It's art upon our heads, a glory spill. It's wild, bewildering, and sexy in its snarl. It's neon, razored, locked and knotted, looped and neon, razored, locked and knotted, looped and razored, locked and neon, looped and not the business of just anyone. Our hair is blatantly political, a staunch and blaring tangle. Glory in our names, the gospel on our bobbing heads. It's fierce and yes, still furious, still springing loose from any peril set on silencing its roar. You've underestimated us. You didn't know the muscularity of kink was busily rebirthing us. It taught us all the ways to mouth our names with Serengeti tongues. It's quarrelsome and coiled. It's all the things, but always black and coiled. This hair is all the things, but black and wily goddesses. We've always known the powerfulness of wearing our own sky, the lyric of the scar. We've always known that even though they dared to call us slaves, we never were. If only they had heard the freedom on our heads, the jubilant, triumphant wail of all that hair, its rude, unbridled verb, they would have left us free to rule our own damn selves, to live our sweet and colored lives. Our hair is throat, is knife against the throat, is song within the throat. It's how we rock and conquer every room. Our hair's the funk, the scorch. Aretha's growl is hair, is funk, is scorch. Aretha's growl is one of just a million ways the tale is told. It's told in gospel, hurtling toward the rafters, told in warnings, grunted blue and deeper blue by Delta gals. It's told in songs our mamas sang before they threw those pressing combs into the fire. Go on and raise your eyes to where we rise. Go on and hail the royalty we be. Go on, resent the ways we vow to live our souls out loud. But do not touch this hair. The black explode, the crowning of it all. Your hands will never know a shelter in this heat, so sweetly hellish on our perfect heads. So sweetly hellish on our perfect heads. This hair has known the yesterdays we know, has lived the history we've lived. Once we were slaves, and then there were the days we sat on plastic kitchen chairs while trying not to hear the sizzling iron comb, its teeth intent on disappearing us. But when they were freed, embracing wild, each strand became a fist that pierced the air, a strident voice that sanctified and irritated each and every one its tiny god. You say it's only hair, a consequence of blood, a quirk of body. But what it is life, and even history can't twist that truth. Yes, even history can't twist that truth, can't warp the telling. See, our hair is the thing that no one else will claim. It makes us like nobody else. It seems there is a world of silk, of blonde and pinkish skin that coppers under sun, but then there's powerful nappy. There's the feral curl, the everything there is, what Black girls have that no one else imagines. Mystery prevails. It just may be the kiss of sun that's braided in the braids, the moon that spits its light in dreaded ropes. The earth was not prepared for what our locks would scream. In its beginning, earth was fractured and frail. In its beginning, earth was fractured, frail. Outside its realm, no one could fathom us, our springing from a single wicked root. When we began, our hair was furious and braided thick against the spit of men. Our chaos crown still razzles, nap unleashed, and we explode, always ourselves again, a single soul, yet none of us the same. It's neon, razored, crimped and knotted, looped and coiled. It's all the things, but always black. Our hair's the funk, the scorch, Aretha's growl. It's sweetly hellish on our perfect heads. And even history can't twist this truth. No woman wears the crown except the queen. Thank you. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
I just have to be honest. I don't think that there was any other way for us to bring in the guest of the hour. The reason why we are all here today.
Yes.
The reason why we are all extremely happy. And I am so blessed. I am so thankful just to not only be in this space, but to be the one to introduce the reason why we have all come together and the reason that we are all here. I get the opportunity to introduce Mama Cynthia Parker Ohene, who is a 3-time pushcart nominee, an abolitionist, cultural worker, and therapist. She is an MFA graduate in creative writing at St. Mary's College of California and the Chester Aaron Scholar for Excellence in Creative Writing. She is a winner of the San Francisco Foundation Nomadic Press Poetry Prize. Honey, let me tell you, her recent work has appeared in Poetry Daily, Verse Daily, The Rumpus, Black Warrior Review, Bellevue Literary Review, Kiwi, The Green Mountains Review, West Branch, and so many more. She has received fellowships in support from the Tin House, Callaloo, Juniper, and elsewhere, as well as work in the anthologies Black Nature, 4 Centuries of African American Nature, and The Ringing Ear, Black Poets Lean South. She is also a poetry reader for the Android Journal. Her book, which are why we are here to celebrate today, Daughters of Harriet, is published by the Center for Literary Publishing in Colorado State University. It is my honor, my privilege, and the great opportunity to introduce you all to Miss Cynthia Parker Ohene.
Wow. So this is what is Black joy. I'm so filled with Black joy today. I'm just so happy that Patricia and Tongo and Amma could join me today. It is such an honor to have them read with me. I don't even know how to, I don't even think thank you is enough. And it's been a long journey for me to get to this point. But I'm here, and I just want to say, I don't want to sound like I'm at an award show, but I just want to say a couple of thank yous before I start reading. A wide embrace to Brenda Hillman, Camille Dungy, and my editor, Stephanie Gashwin. Also, Megan Lear, who designed the book cover, which I think is awesome. Also, a wide embrace to Dezron Douglas, Crystal Wilkinson, Taylor Johnson, C.M. Burrows, Kiki Petrosino, Lauren Allen, Shayla Sabri, Matthew Zapruder, and especially my mother, B. Kelly Parker, my grandmother, May Curry Kelly, my great-grandmother, Lucinda Jessup Curry, because they're the inspiration for this book. And for my daughter, who this program wouldn't even happen today without her, and my grandson, Bear, my berry boy, Black Boy Joy. And I want to lift up the name of our foremother, Harriet Tubman, our conductor for liberation. Her spirit is embedded in this celebration of her life. As I Harriet in all she left for us. So I'm going to read 5 poems. I'm going to start with my mother, the lunch lady. Each day at 8 a.m., my mother, the lunch lady, works the assembly line of newly made meals, each a stamp of mass, scratched from the unlimited land of heather and sunflower risings. She reaches home at 3, after a day of patriarchy whose offspring depend on her to be coddled, each her presumed favorite, a maid at school. Her face erased from her colored, marked body, universally misseen, misnamed. After school, I watch her in her bedroom, removing her school clothes, collecting her uniforms for the wash. Her handkerchief shaped like a doily on her uniform's lapel with the name Dot inside. I don't know her as this woman, a Black woman whose birth is tied up in her labor. She labors for the small coins to use her Black body as surrogate for elevated white women who insist she nourish what their whiteness has wrought, manage their childish fears. Miss Ann said, "Be Hattie, be the wind, be Mammy for 8 hours while they are in preparation for future domination." They have the power my mother could not imagine. At home, Dot is taking what is not really quiet time, but in the slimmest of single moments, within the enclosing generational chasm of servitude and place, in these moments, she belongs to no one. She says it is her nerves. She needs to fight for her life in a life where she is owned by the state, her husband, her daughters, the church, the community, who say that she is the very nice lady with a smile, who exists to serve lunch at this unintegrated school. The lunch lady with cancer. Cancer that silenced, sank her until she retreated with her voice. The labor, the Black female body she couldn't corral, but succumbed when home meant gone. Potter's Field. In the throat of Crownsville, Maryland, beneath the filament of pine and tobacco, reedy blue asters outline the old prison cottage for colored women, held in parch and punishment. Forensics is memory. A sash of light from the Monocacy River arcs beloved, while maddish seasons dismember her station, hold beneath the muck turned livid on the edges of things like vindictive weeds or nervous trees, are cast even unto death, as though bone may copulate with bone. The history of gynecology. This is a poem that gets me kind of choked up, so if I go off the rails, you'll understand. The enslavers cage the black girls first. They lop off the braiding and fingernails which they place in a clamped gunny sack with oddments, nettings, peeled eyes, Negro repellent, disintegrated limbs, and assorted mason jars teeming with enslaved menstrual blood and scraped labia wounds for surveillance. Dr. Sims slashes the whistling gorges in the experiments he loved. The way a Hottentot scorches in a frankincense of fistulas, draping the operating table. Only savage black girls possess a Hottentot. These savage black girls buckle under the tup of dismemberment and unbraiding of the feminine. The braiding, Dr. Sims thought, Baroque, an aboriginal Jew, the elongated tufts from the black savage girls' pre-owned Hottentot, now fur pelts, dress the shoulders of his waltzing wife on alpine nights, while black girls, these savage black girls, Lucy, Annika, and Betsy, who possessed a mauled and ethereal Hottentot, prepared mistresses hibiscus tea and tea cakes. However, Mistress Sims wanted something more. She inquired about these savage black girls, Hottentots, about the incense of the Hottentot. She wanted to rub it across her vagina to entice and woman. Mistress Sims craved the smell of the Hottentot. An African primrose, the black savage girls possess. Such black savage girls, Lucy, 17, Annika, and Betsy, both 18, did not avow pain because they lived through the fear of an ensnared fetal skull gashed in the birth canal, along with insertions of 10 speculums. If savage black girls felt the terrorism of bloodletting, it was not known to them. The surgical apartheid covens continued to peel back each bark of black skin, an antebellum monogram whittle into a napalm world. Their imperialized Hottentots on oppression tables as a storehouse of balm for white women among lacy sawn and Portland stone. This, under the cedar cladding on the land side of percolation ponds, canted bays, crossing coves, and arched lunettes held by Doric piers with the burnt smell of Hottentot and yarn. All the bushmen's horses. I am too busy looking for food to think about peace. My gun is how I support my family. I watch my neighbors turn to ash as gingerweed on camels kill our teachers. My children black at a school, days after Arab teachers left before the carnage. Too many horsemen marahaling at the Nuba Mountains. South is black, enslaved, and infidel. Darfur cattle keepers, farm workers, domestics, women, and children pledged as gifts to Berbers, Bagaras in our Sudan, land of the blacks. People shout for rain to stop the burn of skin against skin. I did not like protesting or the crouching anger. It is not a recent thing. All the Bushmen's horses, it is personal. They force us to have sex with our fathers. The plot where my mother lives burned yesterday. Gunshots and ululations. The road out leaves behind fallen home fronts. Errant livestock, old men with carts pushing makeshift shifter roads, charred tires and trash, a wooden chair, a doorknob, a girl's plastic belt, a child's cheaply colored pillow, a shirt turned brown for too much blood and shit, a watery shaped imprint of a shadow spreads the stubbled upholstery of clothes. I carry my mother's soiled body. We leave without our voices. We only have stones. They have all the power. No one ever listens to us. 6 million cremated. Silence burns fur. 4 more years, they shout across the Atlantic. And I'm going to end with Daughters of Harriet. Her memory of running through sweet birch and sinewy montane soils sound to see. The matting sway obscures degradations of menstrual moons. The otoliths of suffering in its clitoral moments pulse. Marceled garnets beneath the razor of home and unhomed, recalled its whiteness of heat, blears sundered women beneath the coals of slaves. The odd nails of hate lie within the politics of God. The swift rub of soured nettles, African marigolds in conjure bags, the talc of skippers, and the salt of brown rivers of balm, a sash across the quivering sheath. She believes in the benevolence of terrible things. Her body's serfdom, bitten mirages, the collateral of skin that shellacks the wretched earth in black clarities. And the memory of running, beginning again and again. Thank you. Thank you for being here today.
That's my mom, y'all.
Oh, that was amazing. And yes, boo, that is your mama. You better claim that and be proud of it. So now we get the opportunity. I want to open it up for questions, comments, feelings. I would like, we are a little over time, but that's okay. We all here. We Black joy. We loving on each other and sharing with each other. So I just want to open this up for the opportunity for people to come on and speak. If possible, you know how we love to talk, but can we keep it to like a 1 minute minimum? We're trying to get everybody through. We have a couple of other items that we just like to close out with before it all ends. So raise your hand, come off mute, however you want to do it. Let's see what y'all got to say. We want to hear from you. Oh, you'll probably have to raise your hand, and then we'll pull you off from mute, because I don't think you can unmute yourself.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Sharita, come on in. Come into the space.
oh, thank you. Thank you. That was amazing. And it's always, it's so rich to hear our people speak to what we're all going through. And to hear the way you said it, the way you delivered this work is powerful. And thank you. Thank you. I know I'm still processing a number of things as I write, and I listen to others process, just listening to what you said and the way you said it, and what influences you. Just, you know, I'm just very thankful I was here to make it and get this information from Tongo, and I posted it on my profile for everybody to see. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on and speaking. Anyone else would like to come on and just throw some love and praise and appreciation? We would love to hear from you. Just throw your hands up, throw your virtual hands up, and we're gonna bring you on to the virtual stage. CM, let's take you off mute and hear your wonderful word.
Hello, hello. Cynthia, I just want to say I love this book. It is exquisite. I felt honored to be reading it and honored even more to be able to blurb it. And I'm looking forward to teaching it. That's all.
Thank you. Look at that. In the schools already, okay? Here for it. Anyone else? I don't want to move on too quickly, but I'll wait another about 30 seconds to see if there's anyone else that would like to come on. Hey, Stephanie, we see you.
Hi there. I just wanted to say, I said this in the chat, but I am so proud to have been part of this journey. So proud to have published this book. I'm so proud of you, Cynthia. This has just been a wonderful experience, and I'm so pleased to have gotten to hear you read these poems again. It's always I mentioned this the other night when we had the reading at CSU, such a different and rich experience to have worked so closely with the poems and then to hear the poet read them. And I'm just really in awe today. Thank you so much for arranging this, Briana. It's been wonderful. You've done a fabulous job. And yay, Cynthia.
Thank you, Stephanie. Much appreciated. I'll just give it another 30 seconds to see if anybody else is feeling moved or compelled to jump on and just say congratulations.
My hand is up, but it's the brown hand, so you can't.
Oh, girl, I'm so Miss Patricia. I'm sorry. I know that's right, because I use the brown hand too. We got
look up in the left hand corner. It's like the brown hand is just like, hey. I was about to change it to the white hand. I said, no, not today.
We don't do that. You just let me know, okay? Come on.
Hi, Cynthia. I wanted to ask, so we were at the thing that we were at in Vermont was a thing that was supposed to help you with your manuscript. And what you have done is so far outside and so beyond anything that I've ever seen come out of that workshop. I was wondering, and I can't remember what the makeup of the workshop, you were there a couple of times, right? Can't remember what the makeup of the other workshop was or whatever. How much you have such a singular voice. I'm wondering how much that actually helped you, or if it did, or what you took away from that, because there weren't many people who looked like us there. And I'm trying to figure out if that manuscript workshop, did it give you did it help you with what to do, or help you more with what not to do?
It helped me with what to do. And it was the manuscript workshop that helped me to move on and have it ready to be published. And of course, you know, some of the feedback that you gave me on having cohesion between the poems and your attention to reading the poems that I had submitted for the manuscript. For the manuscript workshop.
How about the other people in the workshop? Did they help you at all?
Oh yes, I think that
Good.
them listening to the poem, giving me feedback, and it's always good to hear how other people hear your poems.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm more interested when I write poems how people feel when they read it. That for me is number one. And I got a lot of feedback on how people felt. And so that helped me to make the decision that I was ready.
It's an astounding book. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That means a lot to me.
Very happy for you.
Thank you, Patricia. That's everything. You know how I feel.
This is such an amazing opportunity that we all are in this space today with you and celebrating you and getting to hear from so many different people, just from Black liberation and Black love and just Black joy. And so as we close out this amazing joy, soulful Blackness, I want to pass it over to my homegirl, my ride or die, my dog, Briana, as she gives you guys some additional availability about how you can go out. If you don't have a book, I'm gonna need you to go run and get that, but she'll tell you how you can do it.
Hello again. Yes, thank you so much for coming, and thank you all for reading Patricia, Tongo. I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate everyone being here. Jamilah, Courtney. This turned out to be extremely wonderful and smooth as butter, which is awesome. So I just want to say that the books are available. Physical copies of the books are available at Medicine for Nightmares Bookstore and Gallery in San Francisco. You can also order it online here at their website, which I just posted. And also, you can purchase it at whatever your favorite bookstore is if Medicine for Nightmares is not in your area. I guess, well, since I'm here, I'm just gonna go ahead and close it out with some more music from the lovely Dezron Douglas, who has been gracious enough to bless us with some great jazz, him and Lalo. So if you are in the mood, please stay and listen to this set, and then we'll head out from there. Share my screen.
Can we all just unmute for a second and give Cynthia a round of applause?
Yes, please.
Yeah!
Yay!
Yeah!
Congratulations!
Yeah!
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you is not enough, but thank you. I'm filled with so much joy. Thank you.
Now we can hear some music.
All right.
Once again, Cynthia, congratulations on your book release. I hope this is a trending thing in the coming years. The next couple years, keep cranking out these masterpieces, you know. And shout out to your daughter, Briana. She's a dear friend of mine. Special place in my heart, and I can't wait till the pandemic has sort of delayed the frequent hangs that we've had, and hopefully next time I'm in the area, you both will, and Bear, will be in the audience to see us play. We're going to close out with a piece that we're dedicate from my heart to you. This is Duke Ellington's I Love You Madly. Once again, my homie Lalo on guitar. You can follow him on Instagram. He's a great guitarist, and he's also a photographer, and he's also a coffee connoisseur like me. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you so much. Till the next time.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you all have a great rest of your evening or afternoon.
Thank
Bye.
you. Have a good one, everyone.
Feel free to unmute yourself and say bye.
Bye, Cynthia.
Have an incredible day, you all.
Thank you. You too.
Bye, Cynthia. Bye, Briana. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Stephanie.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Bree and Cynthia, thank you so, so much.